안녕하세요 from a hot and steamy Seoul. It's about like 85 with 1,000% humidity. I'm on no sleep. Last night was night 4 at the goshiwon. Today is day 5. I got 2 more days at that place. That's gonna be the point of today's video. The goshiwon. Is it your ticket to a cheap vacation in Korea? Or is it your ticket to a living nightmare? Let's talk about it. So guys, first of all, what is a goshiwon? A goshiwon are dormitory style housing units with common shared spaces. So sometimes you get a private bathroom and a private toilet with a shower. That's Korean version. Actually, most of Asia, the bathroom is your shower. I'll put a picture of that. It's kind of funky. It's a little weird to get used to, but it's not that bad. And it keeps your bathroom spotless clean. I wish you could say that for this goshiwon, but anyway, goshiwon are very cheap dormitory style housing units with shared spaces. You usually get amenities such as tea and or coffee, rice and or ramen, and also always kimchi, always some pickled veg. Really, I love the pickled, I think it's basil, but I'm not sure. It's a pickled green leaf. Okay, real quick though, I gotta walk through this. So we got a cooling fog. Oh, it's like heaven. Oh, it's so nice. So yeah guys, it's about 85 degrees with pure humidity. You step outside of any building, you're drenched in sweat. Today I was actually going to be editing videos in my room, but I was like, hell no, it's way too hot. I gotta get outside. So even though it's hot outside, it's way cooler than my damn room. So guys, the first reason you might want to choose a goshiwon is probably the most obvious. It's the price, it's the affordability. The current goshiwon I'm in is very low standards compared to like the first goshiwon I was in. I'm paying 80 bucks a week. The standard hotel room, like a nicer modern hotel room or even a studio apartment on Airbnb, is gonna run you anywhere from 150 to 250 a week, depending on which part of the city you're in and how nice the standards are. I'm currently staying in a very nice spot right in the central area of Seoul for 80 bucks a week, compared to if it was the same location in a studio apartment, I'd probably be paying 200, even for like a semi-nice place. So obviously affordability is a huge factor in any vacation, especially to Asia. It is cheap here for some things, but other things are more expensive than the US. Obviously beer, cigarettes, some food here and there is a lot cheaper, but generally you never know. Like you'd be going to a store and buy something random, could be twice the price you're paying in the US. But anyway, goshiwon is great if you're looking for an affordable place to stay. Yeah, that's probably the biggest selling point to a goshiwon, obviously, is the affordability. And that's why you see a mix of backpacking tourists as well as like local workers and young people, students, Korean students, Korean workers. You get a really mixed bag. especially depending on the level of price that you're paying. You might see more tourists and more expensive versions of goshiwon compared to like the one I'm at, a totally mixed bag. You see European tourists, Indian workers, Pakistani workers, Korean workers. It's a mixed bag. So affordability is obviously the #1 selling point. So guys, the second reason you guys might want to check one out is because of the amenities. Especially if you're a little broke, your pockets are a little shallow. They got free food at every single goshiwon. Every goshiwon I've ever heard of has, like I said in the intro, rice, ramen, at least, tea and coffee usually. The first place I was staying at was a little bit more higher end. It was still a goshiwon, but it was like newer, had windows to the outside world, air conditioning, all that kind of good stuff. And dude, they had fresh rice all the time, amazing kimchi. They even had little deli meats and barbecued meats, and they had different candies, different cookies. Every single day there'd be a whole new stack of fresh, different cookies, candies, etc. It was really cool. Makes you, if you need to or want to, you can skip meals out, save a little money. It's one of the biggest factors about staying in a goshiwon. It's really cool. I've even heard of like, you know, weekend breakfasts or Friday night barbecue sessions, stuff like that. So it kind of gives you a little vibe of like if you stayed in a cool European hostel, people are sharing food or food's provided even. It's really cool. I'm here in Seoul Station, so it's a little loud. Anyway, yeah, the amenities are amazing. It's a great factor. Even like lower end ones where I'm at now, I can't tell you how delicious the food has been. Just delicious. It's like they won't clean the bathroom, but they're gonna make sure that kitchen's clean and they're gonna give you a good ass meal. So that's cool. I definitely love that, especially about the place I'm at now. It almost makes it worth staying. I want beer too. I think I'm gonna get a beer soon. But first, the #3 reason that you're gonna wanna check out a goshiwon is location, location, location. Get that #3? You get that? Anyway, every goshiwon I've checked out, or the 2 that I've stayed in, they're smack dab in the middle of like a nightlife district or a historic area, and that's a huge selling point to these things. Along with the affordability, you're not going to find something like right in Itaewon or right in Hongdae or something like that, or in the city center for a cheap price, especially if you're booking like the week of or the day of or whatever like that. If you book far out, you might be better off, but at the same time, that's not how it always goes. You know, like I've booked months out, and then I've also booked weeks out and days out. You know, it doesn't always work how you want it to. So location, location, location. These things are abundant. They're scattered throughout the city. You can find one in any town that you want, any district, or here they're called goos. If you ever hear goo, something, something goo, that's district, which means like the little town or area of the city. So any place you want to stay at, they will have an affordable goshiwon. Maybe not on Airbnb, but if you check Booking or Agoda or Goshi World, you will find something anywhere you want to stay. Any location in Seoul, you will find a goshiwon. And I've heard that it's that way in every city. Daegu, Busan, anywhere you go in Korea, you'll find goshiwon in any district. You could find it in the smack dab in the middle of the city. So yeah, that's a huge selling point, is the location. You know, right when you get into these touristy areas, the prices skyrocket, especially business districts, stuff like that. So guys, location, location, location. If you're looking for like something to just sleep in and then you leave your house in the day or leave your accommodation, these are perfect. Like, you're not going to want to hang out in these. The rooms are tiny, The beds are tiny, but the locations are usually great. Like where I'm at right now, you go on a rooftop at the end of the day, drink a beer, smoke a cigarette, and you're overlooking all this beautiful landscape, beautiful skyline. It's great. So that's another huge selling point to being in a goshiwon. So guys, the fourth reason you're gonna wanna check out a goshiwon is the privacy. This one's kind of double-edged, all right? It's private in that you get your own room. You sometimes get your own shower and bathroom. Otherwise it's shared. But you could think of it kind of like a private college dorm inside of a hostel. That's probably the best way to think of this. If you've ever stayed in Europe and been in a traditional hostel, there's common spaces that are shared, and then there's, you know, your bed, but this is a private room, so it's nice. You can get changed in private, you know, change your clothes in private. You can do work. I'm on my laptop constantly. But I say it's double-edged because, you know, the soundproofing's not so great, and you really do feel that when you're there. It could be late at night, you'll hear people coughing, you'll hear people turning in their bed. But anyway, dude, you get privacy. And I've stayed in hostels all over Europe, from Germany, London, Poland, Moldova, Romania, Ukraine was wonderful. Best hostels I've ever stayed in were in Ukraine. But yeah, being in a separate room, even though the walls are thin and it's not very quiet, the soundproofing always sucks, even in the nice ones. You get your own room and you can do your own thing. You can escape the craziness of the other people and all that. So privacy is huge. It's a big factor. Even if you don't have your own toilet and shower, you still get your own room at the end of the day. You could shut that door and know that nobody's gonna barge in at the middle of the night. Because man, I have had some horror stories in hostels, from the giant 6'6", 300-pound Azerbaijani singing in the middle of the night, smoking cigarettes in the room, to Russian people getting drunk and falling over. I've seen it all. Like, hostels are insane. So like, at least in a goshiwon, you have your own little room, and at the end of the night, you can get a little bit of peace, even if it is sometimes not so quiet. So guys, the fifth and final reason you're gonna wanna check out a goshiwon is the people. Honestly, this is probably why I've chose to stay in goshiwon the majority of the time that I've been here in Seoul, is because of the people. This is a more authentic, like, experience as a tourist or a visitor in Seoul. Please excuse the cicadas, they're super loud. I guess this is cicada season. Being from California, I have no idea what a cicada was, but they're loud as shit. So hopefully you can hear me. Anyway, number 5 reason is the people. You know, they're locals. Some of them grew up here in Seoul, some of them are from different parts of Korea, but you really get to see what it's like for people who actually live here. And these accommodations, these goshiwon, sure, there's some tourists mixed in, but it is the majority locals or people who are Korean. So you get to interact with people. You get to, let's go this way, I'm going the wrong way. Walking towards all the police. A lot of police in Seoul. So yeah, the people, guys, you get an authentic experience. You get to interact with people who are from here. They'll give you tips where to eat, where not to eat, where to drink, where not to drink. They'll tell you what stuff is not worth seeing as far as tourist sites and all that kind of stuff. So I chose this because when I travel a lot, and when I travel, I want to like lessen my impact on the real estate market. I know how challenging it is being from California to find housing, so I do my best when I travel, whether it's California, or actually, whether it's Mexico, Europe, wherever I go, I always try to lighten my burden on the community. And you do that by staying in hostels, staying in goshiwon, staying in capsule hotels, because if you rent yourself an entire apartment, that could be used for a family, and that could be cheaper rent for different people. So if you're gonna use Airbnb or anything like this, try to like lighten your burden, okay? You're a guest here, especially in markets where the housing is crazy, like Seoul, Tokyo, Mexico City, you know, Berlin, places like that. You do your best to lighten your burden on the community. And also you get to meet amazing people that you wouldn't otherwise meet. It's been a great experience. I met a lot of cool people in my 3 weeks here so far, and I wouldn't trade it for a thing. So if you're into like meeting locals, interacting with people, and you don't want to just hide in your room, you know, go place to place by yourself, definitely check that out. Check out a goshiwon, because it's better than a hostel. Like I said in point 4, you get your own room, and you can get a little peace. But at the same time, you're in a big community of people. And you know, when you're homesick, sorry for the sweat, when you're homesick, it's great. So those are the top 5 reasons why you will want to check out a goshiwon. So guys, now that I've talked about some of the positive aspects of a goshiwon, I'm going to talk about the negative. I talked about the good, now I got to talk about the bad and the ugly of staying in a goshiwon. So I've stayed in 2 goshiwon on opposite ends of the city and of opposite qualities, diametrically opposing qualities. One I paid a little bit more for, that was the first one I stayed in. That one was newly remodeled, it had nice amenities, the bed was okay, you could sleep on it. Whereas the one that I'm staying in now, ooh, the bed, ooh. So I've stayed in, like I said, hostels all over Europe. I've stayed in Romanian hostels, Moldovan hostels, Ukraine, Poland, etc. Man, this is the most uncomfortable bed I've ever slept on in my life. As I've slept on cardboard mats in bomb shelters in Ukraine. I've slept in disgusting hostels in Romania, okay hostels in Moldova. Nothing compares to this bed. This bed sucks. This new goshiwon I'm staying at, it feels like you're sleeping on a stone slab or on a wooden plank, and the springs just shoot up in your back. The first 2 nights I slept pretty good. I was tossing and turning, but I was wiped out from the day. I'd been walking all day, and you know, my body was just beat, so I fell asleep. I was a little drunk too. But the last 2 nights, I probably got a combined 5 hours of sleep. Because that bed, it's like sleeping on a rock. I would say it's inhumane for prisons. Like, I wouldn't put a prisoner in that bed. Like, God, dude, it's awful. I would say it's cruel and unusual punishment if you were to put a prisoner in that bed. No joke. Oh, God. But anyway, the number 1 reason is that things vary. And I recommend you pay a little bit more. The goshiwon I'm at is $80-85 a week. If you were to pay $105, be a little bit further out from the city center where I'm at, I would say that's a good thing to do. I would say it's a great thing to do. Because the standards vary a lot. The first one I was in was nice, the bed was okay, the room was spotless, the common living spaces were spotless, and for $20 less, the one that I'm staying in now, the food's great, the kitchen's somewhat clean, but oh my God, the rest of the common spaces are filthy. I don't know what that guy said. The rest of the living spaces are filthy. There's 2 showers for about 30 units. So 30 rooms, 30 people. There's 2 showers. One of the showers has been completely flooded since I got here. So everybody has to use one shower. And it's okay as far as cleanliness for that many people using one shower. But man, can they just fix the drain? Like, it takes 2 minutes to unclog a drain, unless there's something severe going on. But I have a feeling it's just thick Asian girl hair. Just unclog that shit. Oh, I can't go that way. So yeah, amenities vary a lot. And that's the #1 reason you're gonna be very skeptical after your first goshiwon. If you pick a bad one, you're probably not gonna want to try another one. Luckily, the first one I stayed at was nice. So it gave me a high bar, which is good and bad, because now I'm gonna compare everybody to that one, which might not be too fair. I get it's a budget-minded accommodation, but at the same time, they need to do the basics. And another thing, the second thing, like I said, they vary a lot. Some places are a little bit more expensive, so they can hire cleaners, but like the one I'm in now, it's the daughter of the owner who cleans the entire place. And if you can imagine one young girl cleaning for 30+ people, that doesn't always work out. That doesn't look great. And that's understandable, you know? I'm not gonna harp on this place too much because, you know, I get it. It's a family-run business. It's budget-minded. They can't hire a cleaning squad, and they do provide great food, and they provide a private room. I will say the room was very clean. Even though the bed was absolute shite, it was very clean. Very clean. So if it weren't for the bed, you know, despite the dirtiness, despite the bugs, which I'll get to, I think I would probably stay there another week, maybe even a month. I'd tough it out. It's not too bad. Like I said, I've stayed in cheap hostels in Romania. Nothing gets dirtier than that. I gotta figure out a walkway because this is the highway. You have privacy in these rooms. Yeah, you have your own room, has a door, it's great. You know, walls, you're by yourself, wonderful. You don't have to deal with people as much if you don't want to. That being said, it's not so private. The walls are this thin, you can hear everything. When somebody rolls in their bed, like I must have been causing quite some issues last night because I was moving around. I punched my mattress a few times. Sorry to whoever was next to me. That mattress was just awful. So, man, it's frustrating. But yeah, you can hear people cough. God forbid somebody takes a phone call. My neighbor next door is an Indian dude. I could hear just him just blabbing for hours. I tried to go to bed at like 11:30, 12 last night, and all I heard was him talking. And then once he stopped, the room across from me turned on their light, and this fool had his light on till 5 or 6 in the morning. So not only did my mattress suck, this fool had his light on, and since my only window is to the hallway, this light shined through the entire night, and it was basically as if it was the afternoon in my room. So I couldn't get any sleep, from the phone call to the light to the coughing to people talking. First thing in the morning, like 8 o'clock-ish, people start getting ready for the day. So yeah, it was rough. It's definitely rough sometimes. So, the last point I want to make about why you want to avoid a goshiwon is kind of sad, and maybe this video ain't helping, but I want to talk about stigma, okay? I think if you're Korean and you're staying in a goshiwon, most people assume you're either dead broke, you're in debt, you can't afford a deposit, or you're transitioning jobs, something along those lines. Which might be the case, might not be. They're probably just vacationing too, a lot of them. If you're a Westerner like me, the stigma's bad, but it's not as bad. they think, oh, he's backpacker, tourist, cheap accommodation, he's gonna be in and out, won't be here more than a couple weeks, which is probably the case. But yeah, stigma is pretty big with goshiwon. It's seen as old school, it's seen as extremely budget, which is totally true. I'm actually currently watching a really good Korean horror drama, K-drama / horror, called Strangers from Hell, also known as Hell is Strangers, something like that. But basically the protagonist moves from a small city in Korea to Seoul, and he's interning at this PR firm, and he has to stay in a goshiwon. And this goshiwon has serial killers, pedophilic, porn-addicted people, gangsters, a crazy lady who butchers people. It's way over the top. But being that there's a horror drama about goshiwons, it's kind of hilarious because that, you know, it's obviously adding to the stigma. And when you watch this show, you really get a feel for how much people hate and stigmatize the goshiwon. I don't think they're that bad. I don't think any exist anymore that are that bad. There are some older ones in areas that are being redeveloped, but they're not as bad as that. That's obviously an over-the-top dramatization. It's a good show though, check it out. It's actually, the first episode I wasn't too sure, even the second episode I wasn't too sure, but it got better and better. There's super good character development in the show. A lot of Korean dramas have probably the better character development you'll see. Movies like Parasite, you get to know each and every character deeply, and that's something that is so missing from American dramas now and American shows. Like, you might get, you know, the good show like Breaking Bad or something like that every 5 to 10 years, but it's not like Korea. They're getting amazing at creating character dramas and plots and depth. It's just great. So anyway, yeah, stigmatization. I was out first night in Seoul, having a great night, talking up this girl for a couple hours, drinking, eating, having fun. And then she asked where I'm staying, and I said, oh, I'm staying near Itaewon. And she, oh, that's cool. And I said, yeah, my goshiwon's really nice. Her eyes just go, what? Goshiwon? Why are you staying in a goshiwon? And I told her the same reason I told you guys. I don't want to impact the local community as much. I'd rather get a real feel for how it is to live here. And I feel like I don't want to do any more hostels for the rest of my life. I'm over it. But a goshiwon's are kind of a nice in between a dorm, your own, you know, your own private dorm, and a hostel. So guys, that's the good, the bad, and the very ugly about staying in a goshiwon. If you made it this far in the video, I'm gonna give you some bonus tips. If you're still feeling it, if you're still thinking about staying in a goshiwon, I'm gonna give you some tips right now. So first of all, if you're in country, your best bet is to actually go to these places and visit first. Check out the bed, and that's if that's possible. If you're in country and you have the time, maybe you have an extra day at your place and you have some time to look at other places, please try to go check them out in person before you book them. This place, if I would have felt the bed and checked the bathrooms, I probably would not have chosen to stay, especially a whole week. But being that I booked it and it's non-refundable, thanks Airbnb, I chose to stick it out, and it's not too bad. Like I said earlier, I'm used to staying in really bad places in Romania and Eastern Europe, so being in the goshiwon it's not horrible. I could tough it out, but it's not for everybody. So if you do have a little bit of extra time, please go check them out first. As far as websites, like I said, Airbnb is probably the easiest for you to use as a Westerner, but you can always check out Booking. They have more options, I think. And also goshiworld.com. This is a local site, but of course you can translate your page on your browser, and you can get more options, and they're actually a lot cheaper than Airbnb from what I've found. And you have more options to look at. They also have the address, so like I said, you can go actually visit these places. As far as the rooms themselves, please, God Almighty, please, I'm begging you, get one with a window, not to the hallway, but to the outside. The place I'm staying at currently has a window to the hallway, and if one person in the hall has their lights on, you're fucked, or you're screwed. It's just as if it's the afternoon, and it's super hard to sleep. So maybe bring some eye masks, like you'd bring on a plane, earbud or earpods, or what are they called? Earplugs? Or earpods if you want to listen to music, go to sleep. They also act as sound cancellation, so that might work. But yeah, it gets really loud sometimes. Hear people banging. I could hear the kitchen at 1 a.m., people cleaning their dishes, cooking, etc. So, you know, definitely look for a newer, remodeled version. Feel that bed, because it can be horrible. And yeah, check them out before you go. That's about all I can say as far as tips. Before you book, if possible, talk to the people who are staying there. If you see somebody who might speak English, or if you speak Korean, ask them about it. Ask them what it's like there. Ask them about who's staying, how clean it is, if the shower is clogged. All these things are very important. So yeah, just some things to look out for. Like I said, it's not for everybody, but if you've stayed in a hostel in Europe, it might be for you. You might be able to handle it. But if you're used to more upscale accommodations, it's probably not going to be for you. Okay, I'm going to get walking because these cicadas are super loud. All right. So guys, if you found this video helpful at all or informative, please go ahead and like the video. If you're interested in learning more about Korea and East Asia, I'm going to be in the region for 6 months to 10 months, maybe even a year. So go ahead and subscribe. We're going to be going to all over Korea. We're going to be going to Japan, Taiwan, and hopefully China. If we have time, we'll also be hitting Southeast Asia. It's been a dream of mine to go to Vietnam, so hopefully we can make that happen. Yeah, please share this if you know anybody going to Korea and they might be looking at budget options. If you need help, you can DM me. I'll try my best to respond. The YouTube channel is called alexayresshow. Same as my Instagram. You could DM me at either, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Yeah, and if you want to just buy me a beer, buy me a coffee, you can cash at me at $alexayresshow. ALEXAYRESSHOW. Thanks for watching.